That scene, or just how he talks with certain people at some point in time, which we'll get to eventually towards the end of this video. So now that we have the episodes and orders out the way, or that we reviewed them in order out the way, now we're going to list our favorites from 1 through 7. I guess, yeah, basically pretty much just listing them from like 7 all the way up. So did you want me to steer the wheel on this one, or talk about?
Yeah, you do yours first, because I don't know the episodes offhand in order. So I mean, I know we definitely just discussed them all, but you're probably gonna have to oh, this is episode this, and then I can put them in order. Actually, while you're talking, I'll be putting them in order on a list right now.
Okay, ahead, I'm ready. Yeah, I can definitely do that. So since there's 7 episodes, the bottom one for me would be the ghost one, which I believe I actually have them pulled up. So my least favorite one would be Moonlight, which is the ghost Pokemon trainer, just because I felt like the reason why Moonlight would be number 7, because I feel like the trainer in that one took more of the wheel or control of that episode than John and Tommy were supposed to, because at that point in time you kind of got a general consensus of these characters' personality. So it's like, why do you need to not really reintroduce, but why do you need to reiterate their character traits if we already know one's very passionate and the other one is very I wouldn't say smart, because they're both smart characters, but they're very realistic with the situations they're put in. But episode 6, or Moonlight, would definitely be 7. Number 6 would be training. Number 6 would be the Bay episode with the rock scene, just because like I said, I'm a person that likes to talk and get a feel of things when you're talking to me, and I felt like with that one I couldn't get much interpretation of everything as a whole was going on. So the training one with Bay is definitely number 6. Number 5 would be the one with Wooloo. Very standard, day of the life of Pokemon and the townspeople. That would be number 5. No, oh, I'm sorry, did I do something wrong? Everything okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Number 4 would be episode 1. I really like episode 1, but I felt like it's for you to get started. So the 4 ranking for that one, it kind of just feels appropriate for me, just because it's giving you a feel of the new characters and how the world is introduced in Sun and Moon in the Galar region. So episode number 4, the 4th spot on the tier listing, is episode 1 for me. Number 3 would be episode 7, the finale. Well, I did like the finale. I don't think it was as good as the next 2 I'm about to list off. The finale did a great job of showing, why people look up to Leon, and why John wants to be a gym leader, and that's pretty much it. But the finale is definitely number 3 on my list, just because you don't really get much from that. And again, as I said previously, I felt more enticed and attached to the gym leaders in the beginning of that interview than I did anything else from the finale. So episode 7 is number 3 on my list. Number 2 is the water type trainer. I think her name is Nessa. Nessa's number 2. I really like Nessa. Nessa was actually number 1 Nessa was number 1 before I saw the one after this episode, which I'll get to. Nessa's really good. I like her as a character. I like what she does outside of training Pokemon, which is again the key point I keep pointing at on this, which they did a really good job. That it shows that these Pokemon trainers are more than just trainers. They're almost like real life people that do daily activities, that do stuff outside of just wanting to be the best, like no one ever was type beat. So I like that she models, and that she has a personality, and that no matter what, she was not going to just be some one trick pony. She was going to do both at the end of the day. That she was no matter how hard it is, I'm going to do this shit to the T to the dot, and I'm going to do them both very well, as much as I can. So the water Nessa's episode is definitely my second favorite, and my number one favorite, as I stated, obviously, was episode 5, The Assistant. The assistant of the chairman. Episode 5 being my number one because, like I said before, I very much live to the notion that if you're going to do something, you're going to be the best at it. And I've also experienced situations where I want to work hard enough to be noticed by like someone I either look up to or for my work to be shown. One of those things where, like I said previously, where I don't want to be famous, I just want recognition. So, you know, having eyes, or having the eyes of someone I want to see my work actually see it, makes it all, you know, the time I spent well worth it, which I can definitely relate with. Like, this whole episode 5 of The Assistant just really blew not just my expectations out of the water, but it's something I deal with on a day-to-day basis as a person. So I can both relate both as, you know, as an adult and a person that likes Pokemon. So episode 5 is number 1, and that's my listings from 7 to 1. So did you still need some more time for me to go off? Or...
No, I wrote down my list while you were talking.
Hey, so now we're about to get Nintendo Gamer Gal NGG's listing of Wings of Twilight from 7 to 1.
Okay, so I don't know the episode number, the Wooloo episode? The one with...
episode is number 3.
Wooloo, that was like...
Yeah, Wooloo and Hops, that was number 3 of
What
Twilight.
Episode was it?
Episode 3 of Twilight Wings.
Okay, so episode 3 was like the one I liked the least.
Okay, so that would be 7.
I didn't like it. It just didn't strike a chord with me. That was my 7. So the first episode is my 6.
Okay.
Just because, like, I feel like that story's been done before, where sick kid and his best friend's not so sick. Like, you can even tell that the best friend was supposed to be in the hospital because he's sick as well. So, like, I didn't even understand that why he was in the hospital. I thought he was just a regular visitor until he said he checked out in another episode. And I was like, oh, well, I can't see that he's a sickly kid, where you see the other one is more sickly.
Right.
So I just, for that reason, like, it didn't resonate with me. I feel like I much preferred the storyline of the gym leaders than the extra 2 characters that they brought in. So that's probably why, like, and even Hop's storyline wasn't that great, so that's probably why they're on the bottom. And then number 5 for me was the final episode. And I think, like I said, because of the immersion thing, it broke me out of the immersion. I know it was supposed to be the thing that wrapped it all up, but it wasn't even my favorite, you know, thing. I feel like you didn't even see Leon's motivation for, like, besides him wanting to help the kid out and resonating with what this kid was, like what he was to what this kid was now, that nothing else in that episode struck a chord with me. You know what I mean? It was like, there was nothing that resonated with me personally.
Yeah, it felt like one of those things where the kid just got lucky that he found Leon during the rock thing, and if he didn't, he would just been a regular like standby pedestrian type deal. Yeah.
Right. And so then the one after that was the one with the chairman and the assistant.
Yeah, that would be episode 5. So this would be your episode 5 would be your number 4 then, right?
Right. Yeah. And then the Moonlight. I don't know what episode number.
Moonlight was number 6, so this would be your number 4, if I'm correct.
3.
3. Oh, okay, Moonlight's your number 3.
That's my number 3. Yeah. Just because like I said, I like the interaction between the ghost and their trainer, like the ghost type Pokemon trying to help try to protect their gym leader, knowing that he's not a people person and that he just loves to do what he does, but he doesn't love to interact with people because he's still a very shy little kid, and I like that. And so my second number 2 is the Bay episode, which I think is also number 2.
Yeah, it is episode 2 as well.
So just because, like I said, I really, really liked the interaction she had with her Pokemon. Like, she trained with them. She didn't just train them. She trained with them. So she was training her mind, her body, as well as training her Pokemons. And, like, you can see that the Pokemon didn't want to fight her, but they wanted to help her train, and they wanted to, like, you could even see when Machoke hit her too hard and she got hurt, he was upset that he hit her so hard. Like, he wanted to train with her because he knows that she can take it, but, like, she was pushing herself too hard, and he didn't even want to fight her anymore after that. So that's what my takeaways from that episode was. So I really, really liked it. And of course, the last one was the Ness episode. I really just like that she was her own person, and that she didn't let Chairman Rose steamroll her into like being one over the other. She was like, no, I'm gonna take charge. This is my life. This is what it's gonna be. I'm gonna do both. So that's my order.
Okay, I like that order actually. And before we get to the next topic, that's another thing why I like Wings of Twilight. I think that's what I will always say that, or Twilight Wings. See, I will always say that because of the name. But I think that's another reason why I like these shorts so much, just because like you can get multiple interpretations and different opinions from this, just because Pokemon don't talk, so it's one of those things where you have to base off reactions, and we're all people, so we're all different, so it's one of those things where everyone will always come out of this differently. And that's why I think I like this so much, because while you can understand and relate to the trainers, when it comes to the Pokemon, I feel like everyone will always have a different outtake when it comes to that, which is why I like this so much, because that's what makes us people, is because we all go through ways of life differently. So like I said, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because everyone will always have their interpretations and come out of these shorts and even this episode of the podcast in a different light and in a different manner, depending on the person and how you watch these. So that's why I really like these shorts for the most part. But moving on to the next topic, a topic I've listed. Now granted, I send it to you on Discord, and I know it's a lot, but I wanted to know who are your favorite Pokemon trainers in the Sword and Shield video game. In the anime, they don't really show all of them. Like we were saying before in this podcast, they only show 4 of them, and most of them just end up being background characters. So I send a screenshot of most of them in the video game, and I know, if you don't want to name them by name, that's fine. We can just name them by their type. But I wanted to know your personal favorites from Sword and Shield, and then that will kind of segue on to the next topic if you want to go off the dome, or if you want to look through the Discord DMs.
The thing is, like, okay, so I played Sword. I played both of them. I beat both Sword and Shield, but I don't like. One is for me and one's for my kid. Anyway, so I played them all, but like I said, like even in the game, you don't get these characters' motivation. But like when I was playing, like my favorite was, I'm a water type trainer, so I always relate to the water type trainer. So that's Ness, and then Opal I liked a lot too, because she's like putting this kid under her wing, and she's like, no, you're gonna be the next fairy type gym leader, because she's an older lady and I think she wants to retire, but she wants to find the right candidate to put in that slot. She just doesn't want to find anybody, which is why she puts everybody through a test. And then I feel like all the other characters didn't really have motivations in the game. That you didn't really get to know too many of the other ones.
I like who's the one that goes up against Leon? He like wears shorts and he has like an orange hat. It's
okay.
Sorry, it's like R, like red. It's
I don't know how to pronounce his name. I know who you're talking about though.
Yeah, okay, I'll just show it up on screen. Like I said, this is a video version anyway. But the reason why I like that character in particularly, because it's like one of the few times outside of Hops where someone is trying to take on like the biggest like gym leader or the best gym leader, and like wants to be on the same level as them, which you really don't get that much outside of like Sword and Shield, where like I said, these two characters, him and Hops, are like the ones where like I have to be the best no matter like what I do, like no matter like if I like burn bridges or not type of deal. So I actually really like that when it comes to that trainer, or two trainers technically, in particularly when it comes to Sword and Shield. Okay, yeah, and segueing on to that, the reason why I say that, because the next topic on this list is which Pokemon game in the mainline series, or it could be otherwise, which I doubt, do you think have the best trainers in game? So we're talking like from Red and Blue to like X and Y, Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, Ruby and Sapphire. Like, which game, in your opinion, think had the best trainers? Rather it be personality, design-wise, Pokemon-wise, just trainer as a whole, like general opinion.
I mean, I think my opinion is probably based solely on nostalgia. I think Red and Blue, because it was my first game, are gonna have the best character motivation. Because I feel like now your rival isn't really your rival. Your rival's like your best friend. It's been like that since X and Y. And like, even though I loved the art style of X and Y when it came out, and that's what brought me back into Pokemon, I think like I didn't like that your rival was your best friend. Like in Blue and Red, your rival was like your neighbor's. Yeah, I mean the grandkid of the professor who was a pain in the a-hole. So like there was a motivation for him to be your rival, where as all these characters that you're traveling around with in these further iterations of these games, these are like your friends. You can't, like, you're not supposed to have your rival be your friend. I mean, your rival could be your friend, but like they made it more like a friendly competition, which is fine. But like I don't really see them as rivals anymore. Or it's like my competition buddy, not my rival.
You like the bully, like Gary Oak type, like they did.
Well, I don't like that he was a bully, but I do like that. Like,
gives you motivation.
There was a motivation to like beat his butt. Like, he was a jerk. You want to kick his butt because he's a jerk.
Yeah, no, I think that's the reason why I like Gary Oak, because it's like, why would I push myself if my rival, wants to be my best, is technically my best friend? Like, if anything, that just makes me not want to like be the best, like, it says in the show.
Right.
I think for me personally, hold on, let me look up Sun and Moon, because I know which one I want to pick, but I just want to refresh my mind with Sword and Moon real quick.
I think Sun and Moon, wasn't that your Hawk? No, that was a Lola.
Yeah, that was a Lola.
I don't remember.
Right, that's the one. I know, I looked up Black and White, and I remember those clear as day. Okay, now it's easily Black and White. I'm looking up these gym leaders in Sun and Moon. It's easily Black and White. The reason why I say Black and White, because all the gym leaders in Black and White were like 10 times better than you, like hands down. The only two in Sun and Moon were like the OGs, like Red, Blue, and I think I don't think Misty was a part of Sun and Moon, but I know Gary and Red was.
Yeah, they brought back the original Red and Blue.
Yeah,
in the battle towers.
Yeah. Other than that, I think the rest of the gym leaders suck in Sun and Moon.
I mean, Sun and Moon wasn't my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was my least favorite Pokemon game. But that could be because of what they did with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so there's that.
Yeah, not to mention in Ultra Sun, they brought back old villains from the previous Pokemon iterations, which just kind of felt like filler at that point. I will say,
right.
Now, like, for whoever the people that are watching this podcast, I will say that the trainers in Sun and Moon are better than X and Y. Trainers in X and Y are a bunch of losers.
Disagree with you.
Oh no.
But we can agree to disagree. Like I said, X and Y is what brought me back into the series, so I definitely have a little. It's probably also nostalgia. So it could be that, but I really didn't feel any difficulty with the Sun and Moon trainers.
You like the little roller skater gym leader in X and Y? You like the puzzle one before you get to the final boss? You thought those were cool?
They were much better. I mean, like, I feel like, yeah, I mean, I definitely liked the X and Y's gym leaders over the Sun and Moons.
Oh no. You like them Alright, before we move on to the next one, you actually like them puzzles in X and Y? Because I thought towards the end that shit was getting kind of boring.
I'm gonna be honest, it's been a while I played it, so I don't remember it. Like, I remember having fondness to the game, so the things that maybe, like, you know, this is why I don't do review videos a little after, because then I feel like my opinion is skewed based on nostalgia. So I don't remember them that much. I just remember thinking that the gym leaders in Sun and Moon weren't really super easy, and I'm like, oh, yeah, no, this is super easy. Whereas at least in X and Y, I felt like I had a challenge. At least if memory serves me correct.
Yeah, it was a challenge because how damn confusing those palaces were.
Well, I mean, then it harkens back to how I used to play. When I used to play, when you played Red and Blue, like, when you went to Lieutenant Surge's gym, like, there was no rhyme or reason where that button was. You just had to figure it out, like, no matter how many times you tried. So for me, like, I don't like the Pokemon games. It's super easy nowadays. Like, I wish there would be some degree of difficulty, because most people that, like me, myself, I grew up with Pokemon. Like, that's my childhood. Like, I know they're creating a new childhood for the newer generation, but, like, for us older generation people who still play Pokemon, they need to bring some kind of difficulty into the games, so that us who are playing it as adults are not, like, breezing through the game and, like, oh, I just wasted $60 on a game that I beat in, like, 10 hours kind of situation.
Yeah, because with X and Y, and, like, even Black and White for the beginning phases, like, you would kind of be stuck in situations where you would fight random enemies until you get to the last gym leader. But in X and Y, they start, like, throwing, like, puzzles or obstacles in your way to get to it. So then the gym leaders in, like, X and Y would be like, oh, you finally got to me, and I'd be like, you goddamn right, let's finally fight, I'm over this gym. So yeah, like, while I do like X and Y, I feel attached, because those gyms were torture for me back in the day. I was like, the gym. I feel like the levels were more of a final boss than the actual leaders itself.
Yeah, well, that's how it used to be. I mean, that's how Lieutenant Surge was. If you ever played OG Red and Blue, that's how it was. So, like, it's something I'm used to being there, and I guess the new generation hasn't experienced what we went through when I was a teen in playing these games.
Yeah, I got to the 2 fairy types in X and Y, and all I just wanted to say was, I like your cut, G. Quit having me go through these dungeons. But nah, if just to go back, general consensus for me, Black and White for me is my personal favorites, because I felt like all of those gym leaders were 10 times better than the main characters. But now we're getting towards the end of our last 2 topics. And at the time of recording this video, we are recording this on October 24th, 2020. And at the time of this recording, the newest DLC of Pokemon Sword and Shield has come out, which is the Trials of Armor DLC. No, it's the Crown Tundra. I know what I'm talking about.
Crown Tundra.
Right. I meant to do that. But the Crown Tundra DLC has just dropped for us yesterday, but at the time of this video, it's probably been out for a while. So I want to ask Gamer Gal for this video and for the podcast purposes, what did she think of the Town Tundra DLC in Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Well, I can't speak too much on it because I just started it. So, like, I like to play my Pokemon games while I stream. So I don't play it outside of streaming. So for right now, my experience is 2 hours in, and one of those hours I was doing the raid Dynamax dens. So I did like that we get to pick. I mean, the first person who starts the battle gets to pick the direction in which we go, which I think it should be like everybody pick, and whichever one everybody chooses, the highest number is the one that goes. But then, you can get into a even odd situation because it's an even number of players. But like, so right now I'm liking the DLC, but again, I'm only 2 hours in, and one of those hours was spent in the dungeons. But from what I hear, it's gonna be much beefier than the Isle of Armor, because the Isle of Armor was super, like, had I not been just streaming it and recording it while I streamed, I probably could have been finished it within like 2 hours, 3 hours. From what I was told, that's exactly what happened with another subscriber of mine. He beat it way before I did. So there is that. But I'm looking forward to what it has. I just got into it, so I can't speak too much on it, unfortunately.
Oh no, it's fine. Like it's one of those, like you were saying, like this is one of those like first impression things. And like the DLC just dropped yesterday, so I wanted to know your first impressions on the Trials of Armor. It's called correctly?
No, Crown Tundra. Crown Tundra. I mean, I didn't like the. So far, I'm not liking the two characters that they put up as the main storyline plot point characters. I think the little girl is a little.
That's his daughter,
I mean, I think
right?
she's meant to be a brat. Yeah, she's meant to be a brat, but like, I'm like, yo, if that was my child, get over yourself. Kind of situation like that. Like, I already got annoyed with the characters. The dad being over, like, that was a little like weird. I'm like, yo, why do you? I mean, besides wanting to hang out with your children a lot, why are you on top of your daughter like that? That is a really weird interaction between those two characters, and I'm like, yo, I don't know that I want to continue playing this game.
And with the Crown Tundra, I got it right correctly. Right, Crown Tundra. Right, I got it right. I'm gonna say the second DLC to be on the safe side. With the second DLC, did you run?
You're breaking in and out.
Oh, okay. With the second DLC, did you run into any like rare Pokemon? Not, I shouldn't say rare like shiny, but did you run into Pokemon that weren't in the base game so far in like your 2-hour session?
Yeah, I mean the first Pokemon I picked up wasn't in the other game. So yeah, I'm running into, and then the end of the raid battles is the boss. Like there's one at the end. There's one legendary at the end. So obviously I'm running into Pokemon that I haven't run into before. But again, I just to be honest, I finished my stream at my base camp, and I just got there. So like that's like literally you can get there within a half an hour. But because I was streaming it and I was playing with people, I didn't. Like, I'm sure this experience would go faster if I wasn't streaming it and playing with people, but I just enjoy playing with everybody. So for me, I like that's how I experience these kind of games where it's fun to experience it with other people.
Okay, yeah, no, I can definitely get with that. And were there any, or do you have any short like positives and negatives for the second DLC before we get to? Do you like it more than the first one, or do you think they're pretty similar? I guess I should say.
I mean, I can't base it. I haven't spent enough time. I mean, I could tell you what I thought about the first DLC, but I haven't spent enough time with the second one to like really like. My first impression is like characters are annoying. That's about all I can give you with that.
Okay, now there's nothing wrong with that, and the reason why I mentioned that, while it got me some time to prep up, is because the Pokemon, what's the shorts called again? Twilight Wings, right? Am I correct?
Twilight Wings, yes.
Yes. The reason why I mention that, because the Pokemon shorts are actually coming back, and it's something called the Star Festival, and it will be returning on November 5th of this year. So far from what I gather, it's called the Star Festival, and some articles are saying it's based off the expansion pack, but from the title of the episode alone, I think it's going to be its own original story. So do you have any expectations or theories of what the Star Festival could be for this next Pokemon short that they're planning on having, which would either be episode 9 or its own thing?
I feel like they're definitely going to be based on the DLC islands, like Isle of Armor. Probably based on Kubfu and because I haven't met the whatever we're picking up in the Crown Tundra, whatever the deer like thing with that big old floaty thing in his head is, and the Kubfu. I feel like those are what the new series might be based off of, the little shorts. Hopefully.
Because the picture is like showing like a coliseum almost, so like I'm very conflicted and wanted to know your opinions on what this one could be for.
I've never actually seen the picture. You want to pick it up? Put it up for me so I can see what I'm looking at.
I already did.
Hold on, I didn't see that. Give me one second to go back.
It's just a background saying November 5th, so I was like, oh, so there's an eighth short or one more short for the.
Okay, I see what you're showing me. It didn't look like anything special. Ooh. The lights in the background. So for me, I thought that was just a regular plain background thing.
Nah, girl, that's when the short coming out.
Didn't know.
But you said you're thinking it's going to be based off the DLCs or expansion packs that are being released.
Yeah, I think it's going to be based off the DLCs.
All right. Before we go, I just have one more topic and opinion for, or I guess one more topic for you and suggestion for the podcast topic. So during the time of this video, in November there will be a bundle, like some type of package where you can pick up Pokemon Sword and Shield and you'll be able to get all the DLC with it, which probably some extra stuff whenever it does release in November. But during that time when they released that, there was a Pokemon Direct that happened that had a music video, which I'm not going to play because of copyright reasons, but I wanted to know your thoughts, like visually, on that music video, because it had a lot of older series mixed in with it, and I wanted to know like what in that video piqued your interest, what you noticed, what you liked and disliked, and just overall your thoughts of the gotcha music video that Pokemon did for that Direct.
I'm gonna be honest, like I was watching it and I could see some of the thing is I missed Black and White complete, so I could tell there were characters in there that I didn't recognize.
I'm sleep.
And then a lot of
No, I said I'm sleep. How can you sleep on Black and White? Go on.
Well, okay, because I stopped. I remember I picked back up at X and Y. I stopped at I think Alpha and Ruby, or OG Alpha and Ruby on the Game Boy Advance. So like there were characters I didn't recognize in the thing. I mean, I could tell that they were trying to tie all of the shows together in that music video, but for me, it was like, I could have done without it. Like it wasn't anything special for me. I get fans probably were excited for it, but like, Okay. It could have been that I had to like mute it while I was doing my reaction video to it, so it wasn't more of a nuisance than anything else for me, and that could be what sullied my experience of it. Maybe if I wasn't recording it and having to edit it out, knowing I had to edit that out, maybe I would have had a different reaction. But because of the way I watched it, maybe that's what it was.
Okay, no, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we always, as YouTubers and content creators, we're always, trying to, make content while also dealing with the struggles of like content ID and claims and stuff like that. So I can understand how that can spoil your experience, and also not able to see because they go by them pretty quickly. So I don't blame you when it comes to seeing like missing out stuff on like Black and White and maybe even Sun and Moon on that aspect. So they try to cram everything into the small music video, so I don't blame you for that. But I will say, as our very last topic, I'm not sure how much opinionated are you on this, but I wanted to know, after playing Sun and Moon, do you have like any high expectations for the next Pokemon game, or is there anything you want to see from the next one when it comes to Game Freak, or the next iteration when it comes to the next Nintendo system in the near future?
So, same I wanted to see since the very beginning. I want them to iterate. Alright, so like what I want and what is going to happen are two very different things. Because Game Freak doesn't like to put the same mechanics in any game. So like that's why you're like you got Gigantamaxing instead of Megas. Why you have this versus that. Like they don't put the same mechanics in every game to force you to play each game and be its own unique experience, and I get that. But my whole thing is like, I want these worlds to converge. Like I thought when we got the Switch version that all of the Pokemon were going to be there. We were going to have a world map. We were going to be able to go from region to region to region like you did in Silver and Gold, where you were able to go to the Kanto region and the Johto region. And I thought that they were gonna finally, that we're on a Switch platform, that they had a better processor to work with, that we were gonna be able to go to each different region, and it just never happened. And that frustrated me because I was like, they did it for Johto and they did it for Kanto. Why can't we do it with a beefier system? And then I would love to see the National Dex come back. I don't like that they removed the National Dex complete, because that was a frustration for most fans. Like even Sun and Moon, which was on weaker hardware, got all the Pokemon. Like I don't understand why they're removing them. The whole purpose of Pokemon is gotta catch them all. You can't catch them all if they're not all there.
Well, no, you can catch them all when you buy an expansion pass. That's why.
No, well, I mean, even in the expansion pass, I don't think I haven't finished the expansion pack, so don't take my word for it. I don't think all the Pokemon are there. I think there's still people missing. I mean, Pokemon missing. So I would like the whole Pokédex to come back. The National Dex needs to return. Like that needs to be a thing that doesn't return. I thought, like, you know how you can hear Pikachu and Eevee's voice. I thought they were also gonna voice all of these Pokemon. I want to see a harder mode, like. I like even the Nuzlocke modes that they have on thing. Like, give us a way to make those modes in the game so that people don't have to. Like, people are playing these games to make them harder because these games are so dang easy. Give us a hard mode or give us those Nuzlocke modes so that people can put them in there. So those are the kinds of things I want to see out of the next ones. That we're gonna get them, no. Those are the things I would like.
Right, because Game Freak, as much people, because Game Freak at the end of the day is still a company, so they have to cut corners and make DLCs and try to drag
cut
on
corners.
The game.
They're making so much money. They don't have to cut these corners that they're cutting. They just want to make more.
Because they're lazy.
So they don't. Yeah, they're being lazy about it. Because they try to say, oh, we didn't use the same animation, but they definitely use the same structure in all these games. I'm like, yo, the structure didn't change. You didn't change very much. You didn't even add much to the storyline. It's the same storyline from red and blue. You're going through the gym, trying to, something's gonna happen to end the world, and you gotta stop it. Like, nothing changes in the storyline to give us a different storyline or something. Like, it's the same storyline repeated. So why are you taking away stuff if you're gonna repeat the same kind of storyline with different things happening, but the same thing storyline? I don't understand Game Freak when it comes to this. It's like, this is why I didn't even want to pick up, like, after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where it was just Sun and Moon with DLC, and then I bought that game 4 times, same game 4 times. I was pissed. I was like, I was done. I was like, I was so almost done with this series. And then what they did with the DLC, releasing the DLC as a separate cartridge, like, had I known they were gonna release, I would have just picked up 1 copy and then bought the one with the DLC, and then maybe even sold the original one and got the second one that the DLC, because I do like to own my games complete physical with the DLC included. But like, I already got both these games, and it makes no sense for me to rebuy the games again to get the DLC that I already purchased the DLC for. Like, so dumb.
Yeah, it's gotten. I think what happened with Sword and Shield, where Game Freak couldn't really finesse people, because saying it here, most Pokemon games were on a handheld, and since the Switch is a hybrid, it now shows Game Freak's true colors of, you can't finesse people like you used to back in the day, because the excuse was well, it's a handheld Pokemon game that comes out every 2 to 3 years, but now with stronger hardware, it's just it showed Game Freak's true intentions, where we didn't really feel like going all out. We'll just put a little here, spread it out until next year, and drop the rest on you. So it really shows, not just from a company standpoint, but where Pokemon as a series as a whole is, where it's we're gonna spread it out as much, we're gonna spread it out towards the years instead of just putting it all in one package or cartridge, pretty much. But when it comes to what I want from the next iteration, at pretty much this point, I think Pokemon for me peaked at Black and White, just because I felt like with the final boss, your rival, I felt like I'm not gonna get that from any other game. I feel like, because Pokemon, and this happens over time, as we go on with decades, it is supposed to be meant for kids and not really for the people that grew up with it. So I feel like they're more trying to gainer the audience of new children than there are for people that have experienced this back in the day, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's still a business, but I feel like at this point, I don't have any high expectations for the Pokemon company for when it comes to video games, or Game Freak as a whole. I think they're trying to garner more newer audience of children than pleasing the already existing fans, which is fine. But I say that to say this, that I don't expect Game Freak or the Pokemon games to get better or go up anytime soon, and probably won't. I'm sure the spin-off games will probably do better than the mainline ones, which is fine. But I think where the series of games are headed now, where they want to make it as friendly and as more of interacting and playful with your Pokemon more than the battles itself is what I'm starting to see.
Right. I think, to be honest, I think they did a survey, and I think the people that own the Pokemons the most are the adults and not the children. So, like, if your fan base is still the old fan base, and I know you're trying to, like, that's why I said add the difficulty mode. Then you can appeal to all your audiences.
Yeah, and it's just like, I wish those surveys, actually, like, transferred over to the companies, but like I said, for company standpoints, it's like before we wrap this up, for a company, like a lot of these big corporations, there's like, if we get a child audience, they were able to stretch that out more for a wide, like worldwide, like with Fortnite or anything else that you find, kids enjoy. They're able to get that word out quicker than an older audience. But the only problem is that how long are you able to keep that child audience, entertained for before they just drop it and go to something else? So it's like, that's the problems that these companies deal with. It's like, you want it fast food, you want it quick and fast, whereas I'm trying to enjoy a meal, and I want to enjoy, I want it for it to last as long as possible.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I'm just constantly just seeing Game Freak and the Pokemon games, is that they're just kind of fast food at this moment in time. Whereas, I get it, whenever a new Nintendo console comes out, it is the first, series of games that you pick up is a Pokemon game. Whereas a lot of people started to see, and even the company notices, because in November I told you that the All-in-One is coming out. They're like, hey, if you didn't pick up Sun and Moon, if you didn't pick up Sword and Shield, now you can get it all DLC. Because it's like, you have to know at this point, like, not everybody picked it up, like, because it's one of those things where you would have never done that unless you were making almost a new game like Ultra Sun or Black and White 2 and stuff of that nature. So it's just starting to show that their old business practices aren't starting to work, and people are getting fed up at this point in time.
Ultra Sun was not a new game.
I mean, it wasn't technically, but they did add like new stuff to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things where like these old business practices from the like mid to early 2000s.
They added DLC. That's all that was. It was what they're doing now. It's with a different.
Yeah, you were saying adding DLC to it. Yeah, it's starting to show, and like since the Switch is a hybrid, then it's really starting to show now.
You're cutting in and out.
Oh no, no, you're okay. I was just saying, since the Switch is a hybrid, it's really starting to show now, and you can't cut corners like they used to. So when it comes to my expectations and what I want to see from future games, it's like at this point, it's like I'm seeing a fire about to start, or like I'm seeing a train wreck about to start, and it's one of those things where like I just want to see what happens when it crashes and burns, pretty much. But that is what you call it. Okay. But no, that's it for the Anicafe podcast, the Pokemon Wings of Twilight episode. Thank you all for watching. I would like to thank my co-host, Nintendo Gamer Gal, for joining me for this great episode. Would you like to plug all your social medias for my audience on YouTube while we close this closing statement? Hey, I think she might have cut out on me. It's okay. Anyway, you can check out Nintendo Gamer Gal on YouTube and Twitter. I will put all her social medias in the description below. Nintendo Gamer Gal is a great and fantastic person. I'm glad I had her as my co-host today as we deal with some technical difficulties. But yeah, definitely check out Nintendo Gamer Gal. I can talk. She also does live streams on YouTube, and she is a great and fantastic person.
So I don't remember the names of my social media.
Oh yes, you have a YouTube and Twitter. I don't know if you want to plug the one that we're talking on right now, but your server. Okay, I cut that out. Anyway, yes, she does have a Twitter and a YouTube, and she streams Splatoon and Pokemon. She also has a scheduling, which I'll also put in the description, as well as the end cards. And again, each topic on the Anicafe podcast will have its own individual video, so it'll be cut up and have its own separate video if you would like to watch them separately. There's also a playlist in the description below as well on the screen, as you're seeing right now. Thank you for watching the Anicafe podcast Pokemon edition, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.